And Mr. Howell here, she's actually going to do your introduction today.
Okay.
She's going to read your bio to get started.
Okay,
And she
awesome.
just got inducted into a society last night, and she's being inducted into Beta Alpha Psi tonight, too.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So I had her in class already, and then she has an interest in real estate. That's what. Gotcha. Okay. All right. See you later. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Very happy everyone's here. Of course, most of you need to be here, right? I would like to introduce just briefly our guest speaker, because Dalen is actually going to read his bio before he speaks. But I'd like to welcome Mr. Michael Howell, if we can give him a nice round of applause.
Good morning. Good morning.
And it would be safe to say that you probably can't do what you do without Morgan, right?
Absolutely.
Morgan, so there's his assistant Morgan. We give her a hand for being here as well.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Dalen.
Thank you.
Meet Michael, a dynamic leader with a remarkable track record in southeastern Pennsylvania. As the owner/broker of Realty One Group Restore, he leads a thriving real estate brokerage with over 170 professionals and 5 office locations licensed in Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. However, Michael's leadership extends far beyond the real estate sector. In 2017, Michael joined the Maxwell Leadership Team, where he became a certified leadership coach, speaker, and trainer. In 2022, he founded Kingdom Coaching LLC, a business dedicated to developing leaders, promoting entrepreneurship, and nurturing personal growth. He firmly believes that effective leadership is the cornerstone of business success, with extensive experience in leadership, business, and training strategy. Michael empowers individuals to reach their full potential. He has created multiple business building curricula to empower people to achieve their goals and personal growth through effective leadership grounded in timeless wisdom inspired by scriptural principles. Michael is the current 2025 chairman for the Tri-County Suburban Realtors, the largest realtor association in the state of Pennsylvania. He also served as a voting member of the 2025 Pennsylvania Association of Realtors Board of Directors, and currently chairs the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Community within the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. With a passion for fundamental principles such as diversity, equity, and inclusion, he is licensed to teach signature classes such as Empowered Living's Everyone's at the Table. He has also taught the Pennsylvania required education for the 2022 real estate license renewal, diversity, equity, inclusion, and fair housing. A course focusing on equipping individuals to become more aware of unconscious prejudice and stereotypes, thus helping them learn to overcome these biases to become more effective personal and professional leaders. Beyond his professional achievements, Michael maintains a balance in life. He resides in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, with his wife of 34 years and is a proud father to 2 adult sons.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, that's long. That's too long. How you guys doing this morning? Good to be here with you all this morning. Wow, it's really this is my first time speaking at a college. I love teaching and learning and being able to help add value to people, especially young folks like yourself. You guys put a lot of questions together for me. So I'm excited to be here with you all this morning, and I'd like it to be more of an interactive time rather than me. I guess you guys probably hear a lot more lecturing most of the time anyway. So I just want us to be able to have some interaction and some more conversation. I'll start out by sharing a little bit of who I am and my story, but also just want to really kind of get to some of your questions. Sharing some of my story. I was a barber in my first career. I didn't even graduate high school. Did not go to college. In fact, I got in some trouble early on in my life, which made me immediately go into barber school. And I was a barber in Norristown, Pennsylvania. Any of you guys know where Norristown is at? So I was a barber in Norristown, and I had a young family. I was married when I was 20 years old. I had my first son when I was 21. And after getting in some trouble, I knew right away that I had to make some significant changes in my life. So I became a barber. I graduated barber school in about 9 months and was working in a barber shop about a year later. And as a result of what had happened, I was just very, very focused on making sure that I was taking care of my family. So I started out as a barber, and I created a pretty good barber business. I was in the barber business up until about 2018. I ended up having 2 barber shops, one in Phoenixville and one in Pottstown. And when I opened up the real estate company in 2019, I ended up selling both of the barbershops. But the barber business was very, very good for me. Some of you had asked, is it okay to have a side hustle in real estate? Real estate was my side hustle in the very beginning. I was a barber, and as I grew that barber business, within probably about a 10-year period, I grew to be one of the top barbers in my area. And then how I got into real estate was I wanted to buy a building and open my own barbershop. So I put an offer in on a property. I met a real estate agent that helped me put an offer in on this property in Norristown. And unfortunately, we didn't get the property. And I was very, very disappointed because I wanted to open up my own shop. Fast forward, him and I became very good friends. And I asked him, how do you become a real estate agent? And 3 months later, I got my real estate license. And I ended up going to work for the same company, Century 21 Alliance, where my friend and today my business partner, Lou Masella, he was working there. And he became my mentor in real estate. So that's how I got into real estate. And for the first, I'd say 3 years in the business, I was about 31. I'm 55 now. When I was about 31 years old, I got my real estate license. And for the first 3 years, I did it part-time. And I was just very ambitious, right? And so when I got my real estate license, one of the things you need to know about being a realtor is, you're an independent contractor, basically. You don't get a paycheck unless you close transactions. So I was very vocal and very, excited about having my real estate license. So I was just out passing out my cards, and somebody gave me an opportunity to sell. A friend of mine, I was a Little League football coach, and a friend of ours had a rental property, and he said, I want to be your first client. And they allowed me to list their rental property, and that's how I got started in the business. 3 years later, I was doing very, very well in real estate, and I had to make a decision about doing this full time. And so I ended up leaving the barbershop that I was at to go into real estate full time. What made me commit fully to this real estate career path, and did it change the way I think about business or life in any way? Well, just to be quite honest with you, I've always been very ambitious, and you need money to live, right? You need money to advance, and the money that I was making in real estate was significantly different. When you're selling a good amount of real estate, it can become a very, very good and lucrative career. So, what made me fully commit to the real estate path? I started doing very well, and my income from real estate basically started doing better than I was in barbering. So it made it an easy transition for me to make that change. Any questions so far? No? All right. So what challenges might a young real estate agent run into if they're starting out in the business? A question for you guys. Do you know that when you become a real estate agent that you are opening up your own business? How many know that? How many people did not know that? Yeah, so I teach this now. I teach a class called Business Building in Action. And the first thing is, I realize over the years, I've been in real estate almost 25 years now. And so, in the beginning, I didn't realize I was going into business. So what challenges might a real estate agent run into? Number one, you got to understand that you're opening a business. It costs money to open a business. It's time commitment. You got to be disciplined. You got to learn how to manage your finances. And ultimately in real estate, it's a people business. So you have to really learn how to do business at a high level, and that means exceeding your clients' expectations. There's four key pillars, I believe, to any business, and I teach it in Business Building and Action. That's customer service, financial management, sales and marketing, and personal growth. And the reason I say personal growth is because your business grows to the extent that you grow. You know, I started out as a barber, but at every level, I had to continue learning so that I can become better at doing what I was doing. And as I learned a little bit, do a little bit, I started earning a lot more. So personal growth is very important. I think one of your questions on here is, you know, like, what are some of the things you need to do along the way? And I would say, you know, always continue to grow in your craft, whatever you're going to do, right? Because people do business with folks that do it at a high level, right? And when you're doing business at a high level, people will refer you. And the only way to stay at a high level is to continuously learn. Any advice on ways to prepare, overcome these challenges? So set the right expectations. If any of you really want to be in real estate or any business, find out about that business, right? I think a lot of people get into real estate because they think, hey, I want to sell houses, or it's, you know, I like people. That will be okay in the beginning, but it doesn't pay the bills. You got to learn that, like, how to run a business, customer service. You got to learn balance sheets. You got to learn profits and loss. Those are things that, you know, nobody tells you in the very beginning when you get your real estate license. You know, let's face it, real estate is not a very hard thing to get. A real estate license is not hard. 75 hours of education. And I think it's about $500-600 to get your license, right? Or to take the courses. And so it's not very difficult to get into the business. So setting the right expectations is one of the things I would say is a challenge that you want to overcome early on.
I know what you're
Allow
asking.
me to ask a question, thank you. When you went back and you said you initially had real estate as your side hustle and you built a barbershop, and you also said you had a family, first child. One of the things we hear a lot about today is work-life balance. You had to make a lot of sacrifices. How do you recommend people who are looking to build a career maintain some of that work-life balance?
Early on, that's very difficult. Early on, it's very, very difficult because in order to be successful in real estate, you have to be available. So I don't look necessarily for work-life balance anymore. I look for harmony. Right? So I teach a program. It's really focused on 5 key areas of life: spiritual, family or relational, my career or purpose, my finances, and my fitness. Right? So they're the 5 areas that I focus on, 5 areas that I set goals in. But I can't equally put them in balance. Right? But I can set up structure and systems in my life. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I believe that your success is tied to your daily agenda, right? So I may not be able to give equal time to all of them, but I am very intentional about making sure that I have quality time with my wife. I have a non-negotiable date night, usually with my wife on a weekly basis. I spend time with my 2 adult sons and my grandchildren weekly. I put that on my calendar. And then I have, you know, my work life, and I structure that in a way that today is conducive for me and my schedule. I believe that your body is your temple, right? And the better that your body, the better you put things in your body and you exercise and diet, the better that I show up. So I make it a point to work out and try to eat right. And financially, right? Like, you know, it's not all about the money, but we need money to live, and we also need money to create impact, right? So the more I can make financially today I'm in a position where it's not just about making money for stuff, it's about making money for impact, right? What can I only need so much to live off of, and the rest you can give to good causes. So I don't believe necessarily in a work-life balance. I believe that you have 5 key areas, and then your success is tied to your daily agenda. So if you look at my calendar, I schedule everything. So I'm pretty scheduled out for the year, and if you look at my calendar, it's all color-coded, and all those things are pretty much in line with the goals that I set for my life. Does that answer your question? What happens in real estate, which I didn't know when I got my license, is that there's what's called a PSI list. And that lets all of the companies out here, your Berkshire, your Keller Williams, your Realty One groups, you name the company, there's a list, and it shows people that are passing the test. Right? And so you're going to be getting calls and emails because it really becomes a numbers game. 2 out of every 10 agents become very successful. So a lot of real estate companies are going to be recruiting you because they're looking for those 2. Right? What does that mean for you? You want to get with a company that shares the same values really that you do. There's a lot of different companies out here, a lot of different models. You have a monthly fee model, which our company is a monthly fee, but you get 100% of your commission. You have other companies that are 60-40 splits that have franchise fees. A lot of people don't tell you all those things. But again, the most important thing I think that you need to be looking for is a company that's going to provide you training and mentorship. Because a lot of people will look at it like, oh, I want to go to a 100% company because I want to make the most money when I make a sale. But when you're starting out, if you don't make a sale, you're making 100% of nothing.
Right.
You with me? So if you're really considering this, you want to make sure that you are aligned with a company that's going to value you, that's going to train you, and that's going to mentor you. Questions?
I know a lot of people say, like, to get a loan out, or yesterday I went to a class that only like 10% of people who start a business actually get loans out. So I just don't know financially, like, where you think it's starting.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. You're starting a business, right? And I don't know where you can start a business for as little as you can in real estate, right? You got $500 for $600 to get your classes done. You have to join the Bright MLS. You have to join in most companies you have to join an association. So I always say, a good number is probably about $2,500 to $3,000 can get you started. But what I did was, remember, I had a career in barbering. I also had a family. So I couldn't just depend on real estate commissions in the beginning, because sometimes it takes 3 to 6 months before you get your first paycheck. So what I did was, because I had a family and we had a budget, I saved up 6 months of our budget, our family bills, before I left the barbershop and went into real estate full time. I think it depends on the individual. Again, I was in my 30s when I got my real estate license. You guys are a lot younger. So I know a lot of people that start out, in serving industry because they want to, it's a good place to meet people. So when you're thinking about getting into real estate, also, it's really a lead generation business, and it's a people business. So another job that you have that could complement that would be around people that you can share, like, hey, I got my real estate license. Do you know anybody that is looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? To answer your question? Yeah, so about $2,500, $3,000, I would say, is a good number to get you started. I think what I have learned is the better that I can help them understand this process, the better that I can serve them, right? If you always remember that you lead with service and you lead to exceed the client's expectation, if you take care of the people, the profits will take care of themselves. A lot of people get into business. Hey, I want to make money. Got to make money. Got to make. I mean, we do. You need to make money, right? But remember, when you're going and you're meeting a client, a buyer or a seller, understanding their needs, understanding what they are trying to accomplish, is really the best part about your job. So the better that you can understand those needs, the better you can service your client. And guess what? Service gets you in the long run. Good service. That's what that gets you. When you're really doing a great job and exceeding your client's expectations, what do you think happens? What are those clients going to do?
Refer you down.
Refer you business. They're going to refer you business. That's how I became successful in real estate. You know, I always wanted to make sure I was doing a fantastic job for my clients because I knew that they were telling. Word of mouth is still the best form of advertisement, right? And when you can get a bunch of people that like you and trust you, they will refer you. And when that starts to happen, now your business is really going well. And then at that point, you want to systematize what we call lead generation. What does that look like? You ever heard of a CRM? CRM, your contact management. So I teach how I became successful, and that's building a database. You feed that database, and then your database eventually feeds you, and it's staying in contact with your people and adding value to them on a regular basis. And the more that you do that, right, the more that they refer you business. And as I continued to learn how to, like, what were the most important things that I needed to be doing, I was able to grow and then hire other people to show houses because I just became very, very good at getting the business. We call it being a rainmaker. And when you become a rainmaker, not only are you doing better for yourself, but you're creating opportunity for other people. That's how I ended up being able to hire an assistant. Because at first you're your business, right? You got to do all the administrative work. You got to show the houses. You got to write the contracts. You got to meet with them. But when you're doing about 20 to 25 transactions a year, which is a lot for one individual, to put it in perspective, my best year ever as an individual agent, I sold 50 houses twice in 2 years. When I grew a team, and the year before I opened up this real estate franchise, which was a result of being recruited, my team sold 104 houses in 1 year. And I didn't go out, and that year I wasn't showing any more houses. I had buyer agents, I had assistants, I had a listing manager. So as you grow and you understand the different things that you do well, you know, I look at it as, yeah, I'm growing, and yeah, you're making more money when you're growing, but you're also creating opportunity for other people because you're creating jobs, right? And today we have 196 or so real estate agents in our company in 6 years as a result of doing what we do, right? Now we've created opportunities for 196 agents, and we have 5 people on staff as well. Any questions? I'm sorry?
You mentioned how you have a monthly fee.
Monthly fee, yeah.
So do you have to like a buy-in before when they first join your company, or is just the fee?
Not really. It's just an onboarding fee is what? More than $150, $150 to join the company. That's the only company. And then in our model, and there's different models, our model is a transaction model. So if you sell a house between a certain price point, $1 to $200,000, you pay a transaction fee. As opposed to a Keller Williams model is 70-30. You know, they keep 30%, you get 70%, and they also have a agent royalty or franchise fee. So those things are great questions to know and to ask. But again, the other thing about Keller Williams, I worked there before. I went from Century 21 for 13 years. I grew my team in about 4 years at KW before I opened up my franchise. KW is very well known for their training in most of the offices, and you need to be able to get trained. Really, like, I would never recommend anyone newly licensed to go to a company just for 100% commission. And we're 100% commission, but we also do, because I'm a trainer and a coach, we focus on the training aspect of it as well. Not many, most 100% companies out here, you're pretty much on your own. They don't have a lot of support in most of them. That's why you see the Berkshires and the Coldwell Bankers and the Keller Williams. You know, a lot of agents will go to there first because they're better known for their training. Questions? I loved this question. I actually, somebody's got a question? Yeah.
It's kind of random, but do you encourage any of your real estate, like anyone who works for you on the real estate, like your real estate agents, do you encourage them to open up their own business in the future?
Yeah. That's the game changer. Like, I think that's what differentiates me and us, our company. So I guess the best way to answer the question is kind of tell a story. When I first got my real estate license, it was 50-50 split, right? Meaning if I sell a house, the company keeps 50% and I got 50%. I was green. I had no idea. I thought that's just how the game was played. I didn't know you had other options. Nobody told me that we had other options. And you had a 6% franchise fee. It was only after I started doing very well that I got a tap on my shoulder from another company recruiting me to let me know that there were other options out there. That didn't make me feel so good about the company that I was working for, because I found out later on that I was doing much better than most of the agents in that office, and they were getting more commission than I was. Because I didn't know, I didn't ask, right? So a lot of times, for me at least, in life, when something happens to me in life that I didn't like or I didn't feel was right, I want to make sure that that's not a part of my company. So I believe in, it's a cutthroat business, right? Everybody's trying to get agents to come and work for their company. But I'm very, very passionate about personal growth, and I like to see other people succeed. And I also believe that what you have is for you out there, right? So I share with my agents all the time that, you grow into more opportunity. And if you ever grow into an opportunity that's better that you have here, and if it means you're going to open up your own, I'm just happy that I was a part of helping you get to that point in life. And I think that's something that most real estate companies or leaders in the companies don't do. Either everything rises and falls on leadership. So I study leadership, I study business, and I follow people that are very successful in what I do. And as I continue to learn and grow, I'm a person of faith also, and I just believe that God opens up a lot more doors and opportunities come. And so I'm a strategic thinker, and I'm always looking to grow bigger and grow more opportunity for other people. And so when you think like that, you see things from a perspective of, hey, how can we do better? How can we do more? How can we create? How can we make more impact? Right? And so by studying those things, you just end up seeing more opportunity. So always continuing to grow in what it is that you want to specialize in. Right? I like to say that we have a leadership development company that happens to sell real estate, because I'm very passionate about teaching my agents more about leadership development and business growth than just real estate growth. I think if you do that, the real estate will take care of itself. Great question. What things might we think about to help us define what success, even is what it is even for each of us, so we can choose the right career and also be decent, good people in life? I just love that question. I think it starts out with your attitude, really. The golden rule: treat people the way you want to be treated. Your work ethic, right? You got to get up. You got to be disciplined. You got to be committed. You got to be open-minded, and you got to want to learn, right? We're very values-driven. I believe in, I'm a person of value that adds value to people. So if you, again, think about it from a people perspective, and people that have needs, right? People have needs. And if you can be the person that can help solution that problem or that need, you have business. You can create a business opportunity by helping a need. And if you look around our world today, there's needs all over the place. So I think has a lot to do with your mindset. We have the 4 key areas that are in our values, right? Which is customer service, professionalism, and integrity, doing the right thing, right? If you wouldn't like something done to you, don't do it to somebody else. Would you do business with you, right? Because I would do business with me, right? I want to be the best at what I do. And being the best at what I do means that I provide value at a high level to people. And you cannot give what you do not have. You cannot give what you do not have. So I am always trying to learn and get more valuable so that I can give out more value. I really liked that question. Try real estate. Some of you guys may be an entrepreneur and something else, and I don't think that it's much different. I don't think that it's that hard, no matter what business that you're in. If your values are good, right? Your work ethic is good. You care about people, and you want to do a good job for people. You provide good service. If you do that, whatever business that you're going to be in, you're going to do well. And then, also, what is it that you like? What is your giftedness? What is your talent? Fill up on that. Fill up on that. Who's doing what you want to do very successfully? Watch them, follow them, see how the success leaves clues, right?